all that we do at businessofcannabis.com. Coming up on B of C Live, we connect with Anne-Marie Dacyshyn, the President and Chief Marketing Officer of Dosist, an award-winning cannabis wellness company. We're going to connect with her to talk about her background in disruptive consumer categories, as well as how Dosist has and will continue to disrupt the cannabis sector by focusing on research, development, and design. Anne-Marie, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jay. It's such a pleasure.
It is a pleasure. And before we even begin at the beginning, I'm based in Toronto. You are based in Los Angeles, but you have Toronto roots, correct?
I have deep Toronto roots. So yes, I'm from Toronto. My mom still lives there. I went to University of Toronto, as did many of my family. Moved around Ontario quite a bit. My parents were both academics, so I've put I'm an Ontario girl for sure, but find myself out in beautiful Santa Monica Canyon now, and sort of happy to blend between two worlds.
Yes, and this is a very good time of year in Toronto to be in California. Although, I mean, the Bay Area is getting walled by rain, but I was saying before we came on, it's like that very early fall season here that's just, or mid-fall, which is just, it's neither winter nor, the leaves have already changed and fallen, and the weather's just awful. So right. All those that listening, if you had to choose between Santa Monica and Toronto right now, choose Santa Monica. That's my advice to everybody.
But still, so much heart for Toronto and Canada.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna talk dosist because we love dosist, and some of our earliest conversations, even on Business of Cannabis in 2017, 2018, were about dosist, thinking about dosist, talking about the brand, thinking about sort of innovation and research. What attracted you to dosist? Because you come from a really cool background, but talk a little bit about what attracted you to dosist.
You know what, it's funny, I say, as you know, Jay, I worked at Burton Snowboards for many years and in a number of different capacities. And I said it was sort of like getting on the ride all over again. There's a lot of similarities, which seems kind of funny, but keep in mind when, snowboarding was illegal. And what I really learned at Burton was you had to lead with education. And I worked very closely with Jake Burton and was honored to do so. And he always taught us, lead with education, and the brand of the commercial success will follow. And it's funny when, and then also make sure you lead with product. Like the best product will equal the best experience, will equal long, forever customers, etc. So when I saw what was happening over at Dosist, it was very much the same. Breaking into recreational cannabis, taking stigmas away from it of like, no, we don't want cannabis in our town, our municipality, our state, etc. And then, as you know, we take a very measured, considered approach. We are about education forward. We want people to understand, why they can have cannabis as a functional kind of product in their life. And I love that a lot of that carried over. Lead with education, and honestly, lead with design and engineering, because Dosist is really, we're really the pioneers in that. And that hard goods mentality that you get from coming from the Burton world really transferred over here. So I was very attracted to their product platform, their beauty and design, their functionality, the fact that they were disrupting, sort of my legacy in my career has been working in very disruptive spaces, building new behaviors or disrupting very traditional either behaviors or categories. And this is what Dosist has been doing, whether you consider them disrupting wellness or disrupting cannabis or disrupting full-on healthcare. I love that it was sort of another opportunity to, take this natural resource that's going to, literally taking the world by storm and being in a leadership role and helping them forge forward.
Well, you're the first person in almost 4 years that has equated snowboarding with cannabis, but your analogy, I think, is really apt and interesting. Not that it hasn't come up, because we've had Ross Verbigliotti on before, so we've talked cool. Snowboarding and cannabis, but not so much that snowboarding disrupted skiing and even culture and life and fashion, all those things. And cannabis does do a lot of those things. And in fact, before we came on, I was talking about how my parents view snowboarding, much like many parents view cannabis, frankly, that it is something not to do, not to be trusted, and really even not to be enjoyed or shared. I like that analogy. And if it's okay with you, I'm going to steal it from here on forward.
It's yours. I mean, as one Canadian to another, please.
We're going to take it. We're going to take it and run with it. I'll give you credit where credit's due. I want to talk about it because, as I said, so we've been talking to folks at dosist for a long time. The brand, the research, the development, the beauty of it. Talk a little bit about the sort of dosist consumer or consumers and how that is sort of, you found your tribe and then grown it. Talk a little bit about that, because to me, it seems like it's just growing in some really interesting and impactful ways.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get asked this a lot, and I think what's so critical to the dosist platform and who we're servicing is that we create what I call a highly functional product. I like to say that dosist products help you perform at the sport of life. And what I mean by that is, think of it this way, like if you sleep better, you just have a better day. If you have a little less anxiety, you're going to think more clearly, you're going to feel more positively, you're just going to perform better at whatever your day looks like. If you want a mood enhancer, like you're going out for dinner tonight with friends and, you sort of want to get to a good space, we can do that. It's all about what I say is we want to take you from good to great. We want to keep you highly functional, but we want to smooth it out for you so that you can do what you want, but feel sort of your best at it. So that's for sort of a unique proposition, right? Because it's not about, hey, we just want to get you sort of recreationally high. We certainly can do that and have products for that. But the idea is, how do you want to go from good to great? What are you doing? And how can we sort of help you just, feel better doing it? I think because of that platform, Jay, we have, some really interesting groups that have been attracted to us. And, number one is women. We service more women than I would say more, any brand out there. We, I think, have naturally attracted women who have that kind of curious side, but are looking for someone that's giving them the education, that's giving them a really kind of simple, easy to use product where they're in control, i.e. through our dose control, et cetera. So I think there's a real trust that we've built up there, a repeatable experience. So, I think that's a really great point of difference that retailers really value from us, is bringing women, into the category. We also bring a slightly higher value demographic to the category. Again, people that are looking for, a very trusted, highly tested product that they love, something that can be sort of a lifestyle accessory like our dose pens. I can't tell you how many times I'm out in LA and I'll look, at a restaurant and I'll see people and they'll have, their cool iPhone case and a nice key fob and some nice eyewear. And then I'll see a beautiful dose pen and it's all just sitting there on the table. And, it's kind of become like a lifestyle accessory, but it's someone that really wants to lean in on design. And like I said, sort of hard goods, that electronic, early adopters. So, we bring all that. And then we also bring newer consumers, like, into the category for the first time, or bring them back in. I mean, how many people do you talk to say like, oh, cannabis, haven't touched that since college? And we sort of say, well, no, I mean, revisit it, think differently. Cannabis isn't what you remember. It's, this incredible array of range and products and categories. And, there's something for everyone within it. And I think we are sort of a trusted portal to bring people in. And honestly, sometimes they come in and then, they end up getting, probably become more of an enthusiast than they even thought they would. But, we're proud to kind of have those draws across, some of those demographics that not all the brands have.
Yeah, and I've even seen it, people that we roll with and hear that it's, cannabis consumers that are not even new, but do like the form factor and the cool part and the dosable part that dosist brings to it. And really, I think in the history of cannabis, when we write it 10, 20 years from now, there will be an interesting chapter about sort of the entry point of dosist and sort of how the thinking that went into the product, the research, the development, the types of consumers that were either brought in or serviced through your products, which I think is amazing. And I wonder if sort of you see more of that. Like, it's great to be obviously the pioneers in this and really doing the research development, but thinking about expanding the category even broader, like, are you seeing that either both in new markets, but also within markets as time goes on, like more and more people having explored lots of things in cannabis or very few things coming in and saying, this is actually the product for me for life?
I mean, that's certainly our intent.
That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get them there.
But here, listen, it's a great question today because a lot of people came in like, hey, let's, like sort of wanting the quick ride. Hey, let me hang my shingle. This is Anne-Marie's flower. And, let me just move through a lot of product and, hopefully, just kind of get in and out. And, we had decided from the beginning, we were here for the long game, that we were really, that we were absolutely going to build like a bona fide world-class consumer packaged good brand. Because let's be honest, like we were the first to bring like the real sort of packaging, integrity, aesthetic, and kind of education right on the packaging, so that consumers could navigate it so much easier than just walking in and looking at big glass, vases of flour, etc. So, we started that, but with the intent that yes, some brands will catch up to that. I mean, if you go into the better retailers now, you see just packaging alone, the evolution that's happened. And we love that. We want that. We want the whole category to elevate, because that just makes it a stronger, I think, proposition for consumers. We want, real brands that have like real platforms, so consumers can sort of decide where they fit in that. Because I think it was a sea of sameness for so long, with just it being about flour and highest potency for the cheapest price. I mean, that was sort of the retail platform for so long. And I think while it's a longer play, driving that consumer to think about purchasing cannabis like they purchase any other, CPG product in their lives is important, because that's what creates trust, right? And we've always been about creating that consistent, repeatable experience. You know where the dosist products, just visually how they show up. You can come in and look for them. If you bought say our sleep product or Bliss product 3 months ago in Northern California, you can buy it tomorrow in Los Angeles and have the exact same experience. And that's what's going to keep consumers in the category, and that's what's going to grow the category. If we just sort of service the enthusiast and the highly recreational consumer, it's not going to grow. And I think we have a great opportunity for people to use it really naturally and happily, and that's what we're here to do.
I'm going to bring it back to where it started, because everything you just said, in it for the long game, quality product, lovely design, lifting the industry and the category overall, is really what Burton did, right? Like it was really about, of course there's going to be more types of snowboards, and the category there is just expanded exponentially, but people still return to Burton, and they still love Burton, and there's this brand loyalty there, even though the category's exploded to everybody who's ever made skis and then some, right? Similarly, I wonder if that's sort of exactly what you said as it relates to dosist and products on the shelves, is that the categories are going to expand exponentially as new markets and new people and new entrants. But it's this sort of long game quality design and trusted source that is both disruptive at the beginning and then disruptive over time as well.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And it's not the easy path, for sure. But pardon the phrase, but you have to learn to sort of disrupt the disruption. Like we can't just be that original, dose pen and, the 6 need states. And so we're constantly innovating so that we make sure we're always, sort of out ahead of it, because, while we were the pioneers of dose control and sort of need states, targeted formulations, there are others that have sort of joined that category. So for us, it's about continuing to innovate, just continuing to think of how do we better service the consumer? What else can we be doing? And, we spent a lot of the last 18 months doing that, staying very highly focused on new innovation, new categories, new products, so that dosist is sort of just always evolving and bringing, better, more premium, more elevated products to the market. So we're excited about what we have coming out soon.
Well, I love it. I don't think I've been shy during this conversation talking about it, but I want to thank you for your time and the expertise and the insight that you've provided to this conversation. We look forward to connecting with you down the road, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
You got it. That was Anne-Marie Dacyshyn, the President and Chief Marketing Officer of dosist. If you like this program, please rate and review us wherever you heard the show. It helps support the work we do. We're able to do what we do because of ongoing partnerships with Alterna Savings, Cannabis at Work, Cannabis Benchmarks, Can Delta, Gallagher, Headset, and Torque and Main. Find out all that we do at businessofcannabis.com.